Everyone. Today I was going to talk about something non-paraplegic, and then I ran across a video for something that was very paraplegic. So I wanted to start with that instead and talk about it. I just stumbled across it. It was something called Life Bloom One, which was which is an invention they made out in France, and it's a wheelchair that you can actually raise up into a standing position and then walk in this wheelchair. It assists paraplegics and people with multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease, Guillain-Barré, and everything else. So you have to have some movement down there. And I saw this video, and I want it. I want this thing. I want it. Oh my God. It is so cool. So I went onto their website and just go check it out and and to see how much it cost. I mean, I'm afraid that, because it's medical, it's going to be like 50,000. It's going to cost as much as a car, you know. So I went into the website and I looked at the video again and marveled at it and went, oh my God, I want this thing here. To be able to stand and walk assisted, you can't imagine how that would feel. So when you haven't done it for 5 years now, I mean, it's almost a tenth of my life now that I haven't been able to walk, coming up on 6 years here. But anyway, I watched the video. I really 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 liked it, and I don't know if for sure it would work with me or not, because I do have some movement there. Down on my legs, so that's one of the things that it appears that you do have to have some movement. So I went onto the site and I'm looking for the price for it, and of course there's no price. Usually that means it's so high that you have to contact them for them to give you the price, and scare the heck out of you with it that way. So I didn't go. Then when I was checking to go into more details about it, it was asking me more about what medical profession I was in. So I think at this point, it's not available to patients yet. It's available to facilities that that would have their patients work with it, which again means it's probably going to be very expensive. But it did have a sign-in thing where I could sign up for notifications for when it does become available in my area. So I signed up for that. I should go sign into it about 10 times so I just get all these emails about it. So I'm very excited about this, and I can't wait to hear whether it goes any further. So between that and the links that they're making where a brain, something's inserted into the brain and into the legs, to have the brain be able to communicate with the legs, and so there are advances being made in the field that I'm very excited about, and I'm very happy to hear that it's being worked on so well, and they're coming up with very ingenious solutions, for people like me, who just can't walk. So, okay, so commercial over. So we'll stop talking about the paraplegic stuff, and I wanted to talk about other things, mostly things that are not for me. That I get it that other people like things and enjoy things, and we may not share tastes, and some of those tastes are in types of music and things like that. A friend of mine does YouTube videos on music, and our musical tastes, let's say, are very disparate. He likes a lot of stuff I don't like, and I'm sure I like stuff he doesn't like. Um, but one of the reasons I don't like some music is because I'm not very good at listening to or understanding the lyrics to songs. I mean, some bands like Simon and Garfunkel, they enunciate very clearly, so you can tell what they're singing, and I know the words. So I know the words to a lot of Simon and Garfunkel songs. There are other people, their voices I just can't pick out what they're saying, um, and I thought that was a thing just with me, but then my whole family. I have a brother and two sisters and my mom, and we got on the phone over Christmas, and I learned that they all share that. They all have trouble listening and understanding the lyrics of songs, and so and we're all got some level of intellect, I think. So it's not that we're dumb, but we have trouble comprehending what's being said. And that's why I think I don't like rap in particular. And my friend Mike, he talks about that type music and other things, and I know people who enjoy rap, and with the Super Bowl when that was on, and trying to make Kendrick Lamar, he had the Super Bowl show that got so many accolades. People loved it, and me, I'm just going, oh, this dump 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 and rhyming and rhyming and rhyming, and I can't tell what he's saying, so I can't enjoy what he's saying because I have no idea what he's saying, and it's not really music. It's more like just fast talking poetry, and I'm not a poet fan anyway. I like reading and writing, but I wouldn't pick up a book on poetry. I just wouldn't do it. I don't enjoy poetry, reading it. So I listened to a song and I didn't get it. But then I was talking to one of my caregivers, and she convinced me to go ahead and go onto YouTube and look at play his song with the lyrics, because there's supposed to be some diss at Drake, and I guess those two went back and forth, and calling him pedophile and things like that. So I got into YouTube, and I put the show on, and it was okay. I didn't mind it. I didn't go, oh, this is great, but I did decide at that point to try to change my own feeling about rap. So what I've decided to do is every few days, find one rap musician and one song, one or two or three, and put them on, on my YouTube, and with something that has the lyrics on it, and try to watch it. So I decided to start with one guy. You may have heard of him, named Kanye West. He's a despicable human being. I hate everything about him. I hate his pursed lips. He's always got sunglasses on. Never seen the guy smile ever. And he's into Nazism and a Trump fan. So I'm not a fan of his. So I figured, okay, let's get one of his songs. And then I kind of thought it would cement my feeling about not liking him and not liking rap and everything. So I picked a song called Runaway. And I watched it. And I liked it. I go, oh my God, I actually liked it. It was a good song. It was sung, it was musical. It was, I was shocked by it. And, it gave me one more thing to not like about him, is I didn't like the fact that I liked the song. So it's, but it did keep me going on. So I go, okay, what other kind of rappers are out there? So I did a Chance the Rapper, well, actually a couple songs by him. I wanted to like his songs because I know he's he's into taking care of other people. He's a good person. He's into philanthropy, and he's somebody I wanted to like his music, and he's also from Chicagoland here. So I listened to and watched three of his, and they were okay, just nothing great to me. Maybe because I wanted to like it. I couldn't like it as much as I wanted to. But the one thing when I did watch the one with Kendrick Lamar, one thing that did bother me about that is, the use of the N word. And I, as a white male, I'm trying not to say, I try not to think about that, and I don't like it, and I definitely would not refer to anyone that way. But they call themselves, a black person can say that to each other, and they say it as a form of endearment. But a white person can't do it at all. It's like me being in a wheelchair. I can call myself a cripple, but if somebody else calls me a cripple, they go, "Oh, you're being mean to them." So it's all just in how you use it. But I do have to admit that I flinched every time I heard the N word during the song, and I would have preferred that it not be in there, and maybe I would have maybe liked it a little bit more. But and it's not just rap. I also don't like country and western. And the reason I don't like country and western is I don't like the fake twang in the voices. I think a lot of them they make it very accent oriented on purpose, and I feel like I'm being manipulated into something. And they're I mean, you listen to somebody from England, you don't hear their English accent when they sing. You hear them when they talk, but when they sing, there's not, the accent's gone. But when somebody's doing country and western, it becomes actually more twangish, as they're singing. And so country western to me is fiction. There are some people that have authentic, that is their authentic voice, and there are other ones where they just make it up as they go along. I mean, I watched a Beyonce song, and Texas Hold'em, I think it's called, and there's a little twang in her voice that would not have been in her voice otherwise than that. I mean, she did it on purpose. Um, Darius Rucker, when he left Hootie and the Blowfish, I just, I don't know, country western to me. But you know what? I'm going to do the same thing with country and western that I'm going to do with rap, because I do know there's some country artists that don't have the twang in there, and I'm going to try to find some of them, and I'm going to try to appreciate them and change my feeling about it. So I want to find some R&B that I like. I want to find some rap that I like. I want to find some country and western that I like. And there's other songs that I don't like too, for very weird reasons, you would think. Um, I'm not much of a fan of women singers who make it more about basically wearing swimsuit on stage and dancing than they do about the song. I mean, I would rather. I mean, there's some great women singers out there. I would rather see them playing instruments and like the Bangles, playing instruments and singing, rather than going up and making it all about the dance. I mean, dancing is fine for some people. I'm not a big fan of dancing, so it's just not for me. Some people love it. I have yet to see a Taylor Swift video or song, and that's gonna be another one. I'll watch some Taylor Swift to do that, because I want to be I want to be more open minded about things. But my thing about not for me is not only about music. There are other things that I'm not into either. I'm not into rich athletes or actors doing commercials. I hate commercials overall. And seeing that my degree is in marketing and advertising, I should have been into that, but I really am not into it. And I really get angry when somebody like Peyton Manning, and I was a Colts fan, is on commercials. I mean, you've got enough money, Peyton. Please stop doing commercials. It's and try to pretend like you don't go to the grocery store like the rest of us do to get something. I feel manipulated by that. And I don't like commercials where it says ask your doctor about this, medical commercials. Don't you think our doctors would have already known about it? So how bad is your doctor if you have to go to your doctor and suggest to your doctor what treatment you should get? So every time I hear that thing, ask your doctor about such and such, ask your doctor about something, it always makes me angry, because we're being used as their advertising to the medical profession. I don't like that. And there are other things not for me too. I'm not into gambling. I never got into it, so I would never go to Vegas ever. And I don't like betting. It's just not in my mindset. I just don't like it. I don't like being in a crowd. So if I see shows where people are at something, at a disco, well, not a disco, but whatever they would call a disco now, some place where everybody's singing and dancing, and you have a disc jockey up there. I see that and I go, that is the last place in the world I would want to be. I'd rather be on a rock in a mountain somewhere, than surrounded by a bunch of people and a bunch of flashing lights and all that. Uh, I wouldn't want to be in the crowd for a comedian, and the reason I wouldn't want that is for the comedian's sake. When I watch a comedian and they say something funny, I smile. I almost never laugh out loud and they say I would be the worst person in the crowd for them, because they would say something funny and it would be silence. I'd be loving it, it'd be funnier than shit, but I just wouldn't get it. Cigarettes, I never got into cigarettes. I never even tried a cigarette in my life. Never got into drugs. Never tried pot. My roommate in college was a pothead, and well, not a pothead, but he liked his pot, and he tried so hard to get me to do it. And I'm sure I got high, in contact high, but I never got into it on my own. He even got there's this thing that you could, it's like a plastic bottle that you could smoke pot into, and then you could squeeze it into. He actually, one morning I was sleeping and I came out of bed and he was waiting for me and outside of my door, and as soon as I opened the door, he opened it up and squeezed it at me to try to get all this pot to get me in the face and stuff. He was that desperate to try to get me to do it. So I'm just not into that kind of thing. I'm not into certain cuss words. I'll cuss. I mean, there's certain ones I'll do, but in my books, for example, there are certain cuss words my characters will never ever do. I have yet in any of my books to use the F word, or take God's name in vain, or Jesus' name in vain. I have yet to do that. But there's a lot of dialogue. My books are very rich in dialogue, a lot of talking and everything like that. And I remember when I was going to a lot of schools, and talking to kids who had read the books, some of my young adult books, and I asked them. I said, "Did you notice there was no cussing?" They didn't notice it, and you can have the dialogue, without having the cussing, and that was the way I preferred it. I mean, in some of my books, if there's cussing, you make it realistic, but they're just lines that I personally did not cross. So, anyway, I thought that I would have fun talking about things that are not for me, but also how I'm trying to open my mind up to some of those things. Not going to open my mind up to cigarette smoking, or anything like that, but when it comes to different types of music that I habitually don't like, I'm going to get into it and try to become more open-minded. I mean, I get angry when I see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where they have people like Eminem, Run DMC, Bonnie Raitt, and people like that, but they don't have Styx or Boston or the Guess Who or Kansas or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or Jethro Tull or Emerson, Lake and Palmer or Three Dog Night or REO Speedwagon. The bands that were, to me, rock and roll Hall of Famers. So they need to take the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They need to rename it. I mean, call it something else. Call it the Music Hall of Fame if you want to, but don't call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and keep out the true rock stars, and then put people in there that aren't rock stars at all. So, anyway, that's my vent about that, and put on my little commercial about my crap. Sorry about that. Put on my book thing. This is my newest book, Cave Mannerisms: Comedic Stories from the Cave. Hope you can check it out. I'm into writing, short story humor about cavemen, cave women, and all that. So check me out at www.normcowie.com. That's COWIE. And sorry about my little camera thing there. I'm not going to redo this whole thing now because that happened in the last 30 seconds of my video. So that's okay. Anyway, thank you, and take care. Alrighty, bye.